The following program may contain coarse language, violence, nudity, mature subject matter, or scenes which may not be suitable for all viewers. Viewer discretion is advised.
This is the X-Zone Broadcast Network, broadcasting worldwide on broadcast affiliates and satellite program providers, including CNN Broadcast Network, Sirius Satellite Network, Star Media, Good News Radio Network, Angel Broadcast Network, Wiki Broadcast Network, and WPBN TV. For more information on the X-Zone Broadcast Network, visit us at www.xzbn.net.
All Hit Radio.
Welcome to the X-Zone, a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality. Now, here's your host, Rob McConnell.
Welcome to the X-Zone, everyone. My name is Rob McConnell, and for the next 4 hours, I'm your host and your guide as together we cross the time-space continuum to this place that I call the X-Zone. It's a place where people dare to believe and dare to be heard. It's a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality. And the X-Zone comes to you Monday through Friday from 10 p.m. Eastern until 2 a.m. Eastern, and then the show is repeated in its entirety over the next six time zones as we go from network to network to network around the world. Worldwide toll free, 1-800-610-7035. Email xzone at xzoneradiotv.com. On all social media sites, X-Zone Radio TV, and our main website, xzoneradiotv.com. You'll have to forgive me tonight, X-Zone Nation. My annual fight with the good old allergies have started, so I apologize if I sound strange or if I sound weirder than I usually do. But this is a fight in progress. Every year, we try and find out what we can do to fight the allergies, and you know what? The allergies are winning. Not even Big Pharma can touch this one. My first guest tonight, X-Zone Nation, is Wilbur Allen. We're going to be talking about UFOs, extraterrestrial encounters, and much more. He is an engineer, inventor, but he's no stranger to UFO encounters. An alien encounter in the United Kingdom at the age of 5 left him face-to-face with a group of gray ETs. He is a former White House Air Force One engineer for ABC News and a contract photographer at National Geographic. His website is www.ufodc.com. And Wilbur, welcome to the X-Zone.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for having me.
It's my great pleasure. Can you tell us about your encounter that you had when you were 5 that started your investigation, your quest into UFOs and DTs?
It all started for me at a RAF USAF base in the UK called Sculthorpe, and my father was in SAC, which is Strategic Air Command. Strategic Air Command is the part of the United States Air Force that handles the nuclear weapons for the U.S. military in terms of air ordnance. And I woke up one night to the front door of my room, just opening out of the darkness, and in walked 5 small humanoid gray extraterrestrials in silver spacesuits. They had the characteristics of children in super thin bodies, silver spacesuits, large heads, bug-like eyes. There were no mouths. There was no nose, no ears, nothing associated to whatever these entities were, and I could hear their thoughts as clearly as you and I are talking right now. And all of that to say that during that initial encounter, they implanted me with something which for 12 years, nightly, I would vomit because my body was trying to reject whatever it is they implanted in me. And when the vomiting started, anomalous activity started to happen. Street lights would turn on and off, and this is in time where there weren't sensors that would turn on and off the street lights, mind you. or elevator doors would open and close way before the newer type of elevators, which are designed specifically to open when you stand in front of them. Doors would just open, and objects would start to land in front of me, and people that I would be associated with wherever I would be in specific areas. So it all started to coalesce, so to speak, in 2002 at the U.S. Capitol building, where an associate of mine happened to have seen extraterrestrials, according to him, around the then Senator John Glenn, who was one of the astronauts for the Apollo programs that went into space. And at that time, my friend went crazy after seeing these, what he said to be were aliens around John Glenn. And about a year later, I had a close encounter with 3 other individuals at the U.S. Capitol building, where a formation of luminous green objects basically parked over my head in Lower Senate Park and landed in the rear view reflection pool while taking pictures at the U.S. Capitol building.
Unreal. Unreal. And yet, so many people, especially within the government, deny that UFOs are real. Wilbur, you and I have to take a 2-minute commercial break. Please stand by. Exonation Wilbur Allen is my special guest this hour. His website is www.ufodc.com. That's www.ufodc.com. This is the X Zone. My name is Rob McConnell. We're coming to you from our broadcast center in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. Once again, worldwide toll-free, 800-610-7035. Email xzone at xzoneradiotv.com. On all social media sites, Xzone Radio TV, and our main website is xzoneradiotv.com. Wilbur Allen is my guest. We're talking about UFOs and much more this hour here in the X Zone from our broadcast center in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. Don't go away. Modern Esoteric, Beyond Our Senses by Brad Olson, consummates the lifology story about where humanity originates. It is the lost continents, the primitive wisdom, the mythos of creation, and the rethinking of ancient history as we are taught in academia. There is much more to the story than what we have been told. As this is the first book in the Esoteric series, Modern Esoteric starts at the beginning of time and accelerates up to this modern age. Future Esoteric is book 2 in the series and takes a forward-looking position ahead of today with an open and honest examination of the ET issue and various unexplained phenomena. To discover the writings of author Brad Olson, visit www.bradolson.com. That's www.bradolson.com. Named one of the world's greatest psychics, Elizabeth Joyce is now giving readings worldwide via Skype. Elizabeth Joyce is recognized for her clairvoyant ability to help find missing persons, her analysis of dreams, past life regression work, mediumship, and her accurate predictions. Elizabeth has been a frequent guest on the X Zone radio show with yours truly, Rob McConnell, now for several years. For an appointment with Elizabeth Joyce, call 201-934-8986 or Skype at elizabeth.joyce. And for more information, you can always visit Elizabeth Joyce online at www.new-visions.com.
Do you have a dis-ease that you would like to alleviate through a natural means? Have you been contacted by angels, ghosts, or even extraterrestrials and want to validate these experiences? Or would you simply like to speak with someone who can help you find your life's purpose? I'm Dr. Joseph Mara, and I'm offering my services free of charge for first-time clients contacting me during the month of April. These free consultations include angel card readings, guided meditations, life coaching, and energy healing. If you have always wanted to explore these types of experiences but were skeptical or simply could not afford them, then take advantage of this free special offer. Contact me through my website, aguidinglight, spelled LITE.com, to schedule your consultation today. Until then, I offer you love, light, and laughter.
Welcome back, everyone. Wilbur Allen is my special guest of this hour, www.ufodc.com. Wilbur, you shared with us your experience that you had at 5 years old in the United Kingdom. You talked about UFOs and their interaction with you over the years. Why do you believe you were selected by the UFOs to make this contact?
Well, it's interesting. What connection I was able to make is first of all, during the time of my encounter, which was in 1962, Betty and Barney Hill had their encounter, and it's interesting that very few people even knew Betty Hill took photographs of the anomalous object that had encountered them in their historic visitation. And it's interesting that the objects that she photographed are matched to the objects I imaged at the U.S. Capitol building, and they're also matched to the events that I encountered as a child with the extraterrestrials, at least by description of what they described and what I was able to see encounter me in my room. So there's a connection.
But do you have any idea why you? Why were you selected by these ETs?
Well, going back to Betty and Barney Hill,
Yeah.
my father was African American. He passed away from Agent Orange, and my mother is European. So I have the same genetic profile, at least in terms of genetics. A black person and a white person were encountered by aliens, and I'm the product of a black person and a white person. So that connection in the sense that in that time especially, I would have been considered a hybrid, an interracial hybrid, that is, based on the genetic profile that I do have. And possibly that is why they selected me for what I do.
Tell me, in your opinion, you've been studying and doing research on UFOs and ETs for a number of years. Why do you think in today's society the government and other powers around the world are still saying they don't exist?
That's funny that they would say that, and I'll give you a good example that questions that statement completely, and it's this. I get my samples on my website. If you go to Washington, D.C., it says Washington, D.C., and you'll see an object with a green tail. If you click on that, it opens that chapter. I'm getting these samples on a nightly basis, which I originally sampled in Area 51, but now these objects are over my home, and I'm 7 blocks from the White House. Now, I set my camera up in a fixed position nightly, and I can show you samples 700 days in a row, all headed the same direction, and geographically speaking, the objects are headed the direction of the White House. Now, and I'm 7 blocks from the White House. Now, who would you believe? A politician sitting there telling you it doesn't exist, or a camera that's filming the realities that do exist on a nightly basis 7 blocks from the location in which they say it doesn't exist?
Well, I would
believe?
I believe the camera.
Exactly. So we have a problem here because clearly the physical evidence is completely negating the politicians and the rhetoric that the politicians are putting out, saying that none of this is real, while the physical data says it is real. The physical data also indicates that they're entering and exiting our airspace using a wormhole-type technology that would be similar to what I'll refer to as Stargate technology. They enter and exit using Stargate technology. There is no possible way we can say that we can detect them as they enter. We can detect them when they're here, but when they leave, they're gone. It's like the guy on a radar scope seeing this object appear. It flies through the screen, and then it disappears on the screen. He has no idea where it came from. He sees it when it's there, and when it disappears, it's gone. Now, I can show you how they do that.
It must be very frustrating for you and the hundreds of thousands, if